look at again the last few lines at the end of Ois Vav. So the question was that Melucha is Be'en Aroich, which means that the king and the people, even Begashim is, so there's no sharing, there's no close relationship, there's virtually no commonality, it's very distant. The whole definition is made by the people, but it's a very strange relationship. The strange relationship is that they are not close or sharing anything. The king doesn't invite them, and they have no connection to his world whatsoever. Meloshin Oimamos again means dimmed coals, exhibiting no life virtually, warmth, vitality, chayis. So why does it happen? So it happens down here because of Lamaila. And what's the Nakud of his answer? He wanted to suggest, well, permission is granted. There's no reason. There's no reason that the Am in any way, the people, as a people, should affect the Melech and that he should want to be Melech. We're not talking about someone's going on a power trip and controlling everybody's lives. We're talking about the true Melech. Not someone who is out to amass wealth and power. It's complete Mesiras Nefesh. And it's a Mesiras Nefesh that this, in terms of the relationship, it's completely unfulfilling. Because they're not relating in any human, in the sense of any sophisticated, internalized, conscious way. Not seichel, not midas. King has no relationship whatsoever with the people, and they have no, conscious relationship, as it were, with him. He sits in his palace and he issues decrees, and they follow it, and that's it. No one even gets close. There's no interaction. It's be'en aroich. So why would this happen? So to say that, well, Taka, there's no reason, it's just permission is granted. So that answer, someone tell me why you reject that answer. Bereishim Manusa, the Malka goal of Glifa Batiri law, according to Zohar. Manusa means permission granted. Why is that not an answer? Permission is granted for what? For the people to affect the king. How can they affect him? Because he gives them permission.
It presupposes that they're in the nimshal, that they exist already, that there's otherness already, right?
Yeah, in the words of the Maimon said two words just in rejecting it, and that's what it's implying. Let's give it the words of the Maimon, correct? So in the world of Giloyim, that can fly. Why? There is the other, so we can say, okay, you have influence, you don't, but the fact given is that there is another. So he's very distant, but he's still a Metzias and has some relative value. Not a huge value, not enough value that Api Seichel would affect the Melech because it's so distant. They're not in his orbit, in his sphere at all, but he grants them permission. But this will not answer. We're asking how Atzmos, the Eibishter, is touched by us. Now, at the level of Atzmos, there is nothing else. Permission granted, again, implicit in that is there is an existence. You have some value, very little, so we'll grant you more. So what's the answer to that then? So how is it that Eden, through the Avodah, Yidden through their avodah. The question here is, let's make the question clear. The question is how we are able to stir and touch and affect and summon and move atzmos, the very essence of Hashem. The question is not why did God create? There's no answer to that. He chose to. He chose to create an insignificant world, the tachten, it's all very good. It's all his choice there. That's not the question. The question is, God can do whatever he wants. It's not a shaila. What's the question here? I'm just clarifying the question. What are we asking? How we affect. He can do what he wants, but how do we affect? And he rejected, we affect Giloyim, because that already presupposes existence. We're speaking fundamentally and essentially. Now, what's the answer to that? Lo pashut. It's not clear in the words here either, but as we seem to explain it, or no, we did explain it. I mean, it is in the words. What's his answer? Just using the words of the Maamar, not trying to explain them. What did the Maamar say the answer is? Made a statement of fact. He says, the reason is because, and just says 3 words. What's the answer? It's there, so you can just quote the words. Sorry? Well, yeah, the Fisham. That's what we're adding all of that. The Maamar says, I'm quoting from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines down, 8 lines. Very strange words. That which he decided, this is his decision, nothing affects him. The inyan of Malchus is because Malchus is rooted in the Etzem. And we just have to add to that, why is Malchus rooted in the Etzem? That too is a free choice. That's what is throwing me off here, is because this critical part of the equation, the Maamar is not saying at all. So I don't see it any other way to explain this. So why would the Malchus, what?
The Maamar is bringing out that, not the free choice element, that almost the fact, because that's what connects us to Atzmos, is the fact that Malchus is rooted in Atzmos, right? So yeah, we have to explain it. We have to explain it that way by saying that's what he.
If you already,
right?
But it's trying to explain us how we affect God. So you can't delete, the foundation of it all. Especially when you say you're already invoking Shema shehichlit be'atzmai. So you're already talking about achlotas ha'atzmos. But we have to say that's kind of the given. You can say the Maamar doesn't say it because it's patently obvious. That Malchus is mushish in the Etzem, this itself is his essential choice. But once that happens, then there's like another hachlata, that's what it comes out, another level of hachlata, of decision on the inyan of Melucha. First there's the decision that Malchus is mushish in Etzem. And then there's the decision, therefore there should be Malchus, Melucha, he should be king. Tzorich Ian Godel. It's not a Mogedik Maamar. We're not getting any Mara Mekaymis here, so we should just move on. But at any rate, so let's conclude what we think the Maamar is saying. So since, Hashem decided that Malchus is rooted in his very essence, and then he says, Ki yidu ha-moshel hazeh. I mean, you're giving a moshel for what? Atzmos? There's Mesholim for Atzmos? Yeah, because once he decided, all part of that decision is to make us in his image, and therefore we have a moshel. It's all part of that decision, which the Maamar is not addressing yet, presumably because this is foundational truths that lie at the core of it all. So what do we see by a person? That the need to have a home, karka, land, a home, is essential. Even though it may never play out. It's possible a person goes through life and never has a home or a piece of land to call his own. But that would mean that his essential humanity is not fulfilled. That's what it would mean. The etzem, his essence, is not liberated. It's only liberated and expressed in his own place. But at any rate, then he said also that likewise l'mayla, that here he says it kind of till Yoishe nisav HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What is that saying? That's the achlata. Then he's kind of saying it. At the end, that nisav, God desired what he desired. He chose to desire. That's the achlata sa'atzmus. To have a dira b'tachtoinim. And what's the dira b'tachtoinim? He says very clearly, who's the dira? Shezel masha nishomas Yisrael heim dira la'atzmusai. Eden are the dira. Therefore, so what he's equating, he's saying, let's get technically, geographically, he's saying that the dira, that's malchus, it's the home. The dira is neshamas Yisrael. They are the dira. I mean, dafka neshamas Yisrael lamata down here as they make this world a home for God. So that is rooted in his essence, that desire, that nisave. And therefore we affect him. Now we kind of rush the end. Just to shadi is there mushish b'chinas reimemus ha'atzmi is the atzmusa yisborech. Now the next words. Shalamayli b'chinas yisnasis al-am. The yisnasis al-am left us with a question. Why be a melech on the people? The answer is, the foundation of all of that is the decision is atzmos, and therefore the rest follows. Even though the classic melech relationship is what's the point? There's no sharing, there's no commonality, but this will happen. This will happen because the decision was to have a dira. And a dira is rooted in etzem, and that's neshamas Yisrael lamata, and therefore the whole inyan of malchus therefore follows. As the Maimon goes on to say, mitzad zeh, sheneshamas Yisrael shroshim atzmusam yisbarach, since Yidden are rooted in his essence, shesham ha'arotzen ha'muchlet l'inyan ha'melucha, you're not dividing here between because look, it's the problem. Before he said Shema shehichlit ba'atzman yin ha'melucha, hulefish ha'malchus mushashes be'etzem. So malchus being rooted in etzem is before the achlot, and here he's saying it's one thing. Here he's saying sheshom ha'arotzen ha'muchlet l'inyan ha'melucha. Okay, it's not muga, so I don't know if we're making pupulim here built on hairs or not. But the general idea we get. The general idea is certainly based everywhere else in Chassidus and the foundational concepts, and that is it all starts with Bchiras Atzmos Nisahave, is his free choice. What is his free choice? His free choice is to give rise to neshamas remember they're all daggers in the choice, because Neshamas Yisrael, being rooted in essence, is higher than the free choice to have what? A dira b'tachtoinim, Neshamas be sent down. That kind of comes, then kind of a next decision. There's all atzmistic decisions. But the one that kind of stands on its own, what I'm suggesting is, this is the question. In theory, is it possible, when I say in theory, I mean in Inyan, and therefore it's true, that Neshamas Yisrael exists regardless, irrespective of Dira B'tachtonim and the rest of creation? Or the whole decision of Neshamas Yisrael is the whole thing that follows, so one hemshech, send them down the mata, and they should make a Dira B'tachtonim, that's all, then it's Ava Kadosh Baruch Hu. I'm saying is, actually, it's kind of here, and there was a little bit, that it's not one. decision. Yisrael ola b'machshava is not the decision of Dira b'tachtonim, even though they're inseparable. Neshamas down here make the Dira, but at least in Darge, and theoretically, academically, but therefore truly, the Neshamas, Mushish, and Atzmos is higher than the Bechira of Nisav HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Maybe that's why in the Mashal, Rabbi concludes it with the Asher L'Olam Lo Yavoy Haratzon L'Bayah.
That's the Dira. That's
They're separating of the Dira. It's there, but it doesn't have to come to fruition.
Yeah. All right. Maybe that's Adam is there. To them being two levels. All to say that there's nothing higher than Neshamas. Neshamas are rooted in Hashem's essence, deeper than the decision to set, and the whole desire for creation and adherence and the Neshamas Lamata. That's already not a lower level. So we're saying kind of in theory that yeah world, no world, Neshamas. Yes did and no did in Neshamas. Kevayachal. So again, seeing the last words from number 31. So, since the Eibishter Nisave HaKadosh Baruch Hu Liyas Yisbarach Dir Betachtoinim, so the Dira, what's the Dira? That which Neshamas Yisrael are the Dira for his very essence. So therefore, this desire, this is what Malchus is mushresh in the, not Neshamas Yisrael, that's a given. He's saying the desire for Malchus, a Dir Betachtoinim, is mushresh in the Reimemus Atzmit Atzmusi Yisbarach, higher than the whole process of Melech and Am. So why would Melech and Am happen? So why will it happen? Because it's happening, created by Neshamas Yisrael, which are where rooted in Atzmus. As he concludes, that there's the Ratzon HaMuchlet for the Melucha, the general address in Atzmos, Yidna Mushresh, that's higher. And there is the Achlata, we're making this little distinction, you're following? Yeah? Little distinction, it's huge. So therefore, the rest follows. Hamlacha, B'nimlach, and the Achlata B'Poyel, and the Ratzon HaGoloi, and the actual Melucha. In summary, just in simple language, when you need to walk away is, as Maimon said before, here we see the Maliovid that we're getting, whether we're getting the nuance straight, etc. or not, but the Maliovid, that the Neshama is rooted in the very essence of Hashem. The question is, how can he be affected? And the answer is, because Neshamas are rooted in his essence. The desire for the Neshamas to make a Dira for him in this world, Malchus, is rooted in his essence. And that's why that's so critical and essential to the human condition, at an essential level, to have your own place. And that's why it works. And that will then give rise to the whole process where, in the actual, here's the thing, this is the part of the equation we're missing. It needs to be said now, and that is why, therefore, in the process of all this unfolding, there is this strange relationship on the surface between the king and the people that's very distant. Yeah, but who are these people? The Emoshish and Atzmos. Therefore, this distant relationship is valuable. Not distant, incomparable relationship. Let's put this in other words now, which I think will clarify it. At the end of the day, the Dir is made through what? Actions. Actions. Look, compared to Ruchnius is insignificant. Atzmos, B'chlal no Meile. Why did these actions mean anything? Because a Jew is doing them. That's the answer here. Because a Yid, Moshe and Atzmos is doing them, so that makes the Am and the Isnasos and the Malchus everything. Makes it everything. As we said, if you remember on the Achron Shal Pesach, God does not need tefillin. He needs you to put on the tefillin. He has zero interest in the tefillin. Moishe, it's an actual piece of leather wood. But a Yid puts on tefillin, that's everything. So ein melech b'layom, and the arm is Mr. is so distant, yes, but who is that people? This people is Moshe and Atzmos. So that relationship is just Maisa, it's distant, and that's everything to the king. Because it's you and the king and the source are inseparable. Even though you, as you said before, even Lifnei HaTzimtzum, there's Neshama Shesol Lifnei HaTzimtzum, they're also incomparable. Because now he's taking us back, not to Neshama Shesol Lifnei HaTzimtzum, but Neshama Shesol Moshe and Atzmos. So that's where it all starts. That's why all of this whole thing has any meaning. This whole creation has meaning only because of the Jew. Again, a home. What makes the home, you can't wait to come home every night. It's not because you have a nice furniture. Because it's your home. It's where you share with your soulmates. That's why you want to come home. Because you share with your soulmates, the furniture and everything is all exciting. But if God forbid, as I said earlier, the saddest place is a home where, God forbid, invested all this time and all of this detail and nuance, and then the home is a broken home. You walk into such a place, it's the biggest pain. And some people can't walk into it again. After, God forbid, a death or a divorce, just can't go into the house. It's not just painful reminders, etc. It's because the whole point of it was us sharing each other. And if we're not sharing each other, then they're shells, they're echoes of something that was. And yeah, they're painful reminders of what a home, what this really was all about. It wasn't about the furniture. It's still the same value. It was because we chose it together. We went to the store. That's why it's precious. If you're not here to share with me, then what? That's what he's saying. So what's Elam Hazeh? And what's a mitzvah? Everything, all of it for the Eibishter. It's one thing, nothing else. It's all for you. If you do that mitzvah, then that's everything. Then this world becomes the dira for me, the home for me, and my essence is expressed because you have done it. And who are you? At your source, we're inseparable, we're one. Soulmates in the deepest way. Yeah. So if we're not getting it, the nuance, every word in the mind, but the general idea we're getting. Hopefully. Yes? Some feedback. All right. Oy Zion. By the oil, we didn't have all of these shilas. Why? Because by the oil, like the story I told you with the Pillow Parasha, who came to the Tzemach Tzedek, and he said no one should show up that Shabbos because he just come back from Petersburg. He came at a shaila on the Maimer, and then he heard the Maimer of Shabbos. I don't think it was even that Maimer, it was answered. Finished. So we were there. The author spoke clearer. So, but the Kavanah is going to bring it down to Seichel to understand it. So, Zeh, let's finish the next few lines here, continue at least. So we pointed out at the beginning of the Maimer, the word mimam makim, which we're saying now every day throughout the Aseret to make tshuva. Please tell me why we say it for 10 days. What did the Rizal say, quoted here in the Maimer? You can look back at the beginning of the Maimer and tell me.
10 middays.
You're taking a guess?
Yeah.
Well, look at it. Look at it. Go back and look at it.
That's the right answer, isn't it?
It is the right answer, but a little more detail then. What's 10 middays? Why are we interested in 10 middays now?
Always interested in it.
We're always interested. Because we're rebuilding Binyan Hamaalos, the whole edifice is being built, and therefore it embraces all the 10 middas, 10 spheres. So every day it's another detail in this Dir Lo Yisbarach, making this world a home through all of these diverse expressions. All 10. So we say it for 10 days. And it's all connected to the whole Avodah of Rosh Hashanah, which is, again, summoning forth God's essential desire for Dir B'Tachtonim. So what did he say? So we say, Mimam Makim. What's the diyuk of Mimam Makim? There's two diyukim in this word. Number one, it's what?
Plural.
It's plural. And the second diyuk, it doesn't say, May oimek, from the depth I call you, from the depth singular, would expect it. From the depth I call you. May oimek karasich. Doesn't say that. It says, first of all, plural. What's the plural? And ma'amakim, which implies the source of the depth, which leaves us with 3 levels then. There's depth, and then there's the source of it, and that's double. So what is this now? Now we're going to explain. From the depth I call you, depths, meaning source of depth. Ma'amak daike v'loy oimek, not depth but source of it. Actually, as he says, ma'amak is mei oimek, from an oimek is am I calling you from. From a place called oimek, that's where my depth is coming. It's implied by that mem, mei oimek. Ubezeh gufa ma'amakim l'sharabim, plural. So we have 3 levels: classic depth, deep, the source of depth, and that's dual. He will now spell it out for us. What's depth? Stam. That's elikus, godliness. That is the divine light that is post tzimtzum. That's where God has articulated governance, malchus, where the decrees, commandments will issue forth. And that's depth, because not revealed in the Olam Hazeh naturally, it's hidden from us. This is the hidden world of the divine. That's already oimek, yeah? Malchus, post tzimtzum, articulated godliness, but it's deep and hidden because it's ruchnius and it's godliness, and this world conceals it. But then, but the source, so in general, without going into the 2 levels, we will in a moment. So that would be what? This is a revelation of godliness that's not just godly, but infinite and behind the tzimtzum. Before governance has emerged, and systems and the whole structure of commandments and behavior. There's not actual governance because creation hasn't emerged yet with all of its limitations. What's there? What's in the level of oimek? The rotzen hamlocha. The will that there should be malchus, but not actual governance. So far, so good. So you tell me, so the first level of oimek is what? Oimek stam, not ma'amak, but oimek is... What? No.
In the ISIS, it's like saying it's the. This is after the tzimtzum. This is from the already post tzimtzum depth. It's not.
Right. Why is it called depth? We're talking where God is now articulating a whole creation. Malchus is the creative force. The whole system is already there, and play.
It's not the point yet, it's only in a Ratzon.
It's not bepeil for us. There's melucha bepeil, but there's not actual creation, and this is depth because this is ruchnis, this is godliness, this is divinity. Is it revealed in our world? It's hidden. Depth meaning hidden. Is Hashem's, is Malchus d'Atzilus revealed in this world? Not at all. This is depth, a hidden divine world. Good. And Ma'amak is what?
This is tzimtzum.
So what is there? Geographically, he pins the level.
Not even Malchus there.
So there's no articulation at all.
There's not even the Indian of.
There isn't actual governance, but there is. No system has yet been laid out there. In Malchus, there's a system. But what is there? The will, that we will produce a system. The Ratzon Lemlocha. Like, as you said before, the king a person decides it's a good idea, I could be a leader and have what to contribute, but may never actualize. The Ratzon Lemlocha. But now, what? We want to stop here because so far so good. We don't. Continue. Yesh ma'amakim loshen Rabbi. What's the lifnei atzimtzum itself? The two levels, hidden and then hidden from the hidden. That is, lifnei atzimtzum gufa. So in the revelation. Pre-tzimtzum means pre-system. Nothing's articulate. There's no details here of how this is going to happen. And creation. There's no details of even, when I say how this is going to happen, what creation is going to look like. What the whole thing is going to be. That's lifnei tzimtzum. So in this early lifnei tzimtzum, b'chinas gilu yo'or, yesh beis b'chinas b'kol, there's two levels. Now we're getting the two oimek, and we're going to get a fourth level, friends. Gilui li'atzmoi v'gilui l'zulasa. There's revelation within self and revelation to the theoretical other. Shehem ha'pchinas demachshava v'rotzen ha'gola, which you talked about earlier. So, machshava v'rotzen is just entertaining the idea to be king. And Ratzon Agoli is the articulated desire, but still not play out.
Are none of these going on the Indian that's in Musheshus in Atzmus, the Indian of?
He is. We're going to go there.
Because that would really be the depth,
That's the fourth level. I was going to say now. Is about to say that. Mima makim, a fourth level. That's okay. We'll stop here, but that is where he's going to go. So we'll revisit these levels again, and conclude the Maimon Hashem tomorrow.
You want depth, you just go there. You don't even need what do you?
Huh?
You want a depth of
Because you want to trace it through all of its levels and appreciate them all. They need to all be appreciated. That's how God chose to manifest himself, and they're all beyond us, and each one is relatively infinite.